All right, welcome. Today, we are jumping into a mental boot camp, one that's all about sharpening your strategic thinking. The mission, to hand you a completely new lens for seeing the world, one that helps you cut right through the noise so you can make much, much better decisions. Let's get into it. Do you ever feel like you're just navigating through a thick fog? You know that feeling of confusion, of not having quite enough information to make the right call? Whether it's in your career, your projects, or even just in your personal life. Well, that's the fog of war. It's a military idea for the uncertainty you feel on the battlefield. But hey, it's not just for generals. It's something we all deal with every single day. And in this boot camp, we're treating the stakes as if they are that high. Why? Because the very first rule of any strategy isn't about having more motivation, it's about having clarity. It all starts with this simple truth. If you don't really understand the landscape you're operating in, you're starting at a massive disadvantage. So, consider your training officially underway. The whole theme of this operation is to train your strategist's eye. That's the ability to look right past all the surface-level chaos and see the fundamental battlefield that lies underneath every single situation. This is our roadmap. Okay, we're starting with basic training. Before you can even think about complex maneuvers, you have to master the two most basic elements of any strategic situation, the ground you're fighting on and the forces you have under your command. Module 1 is all built around this core principle: terrain is fate. Your environment, and that could be a market, an office, even a family negotiation, it defines all of your options before you make a single move. Think of Hannibal crossing the Alps to get a tactical edge, or how Amazon chose cloud computing as its key territory. The terrain you're on dictates your strategy. So, how do you actually map your terrain? Well, we've got two really powerful tools. First is the circle of competence. Think of this as your home turf, the areas where you have deep, undeniable knowledge. A great chef isn't going to try to compete with a software developer. No, they dominate their circle. Knowing your ground means knowing where you're strong. Second, there's Occam's razor. This is like your personal blade for cutting through all the fluff and complexity. It basically teaches you that the simplest explanation is usually the best one. It helps you see the hard reality of the ground you're standing on. So here's your first mission. Map out one area where you are an expert and one where you are absolutely not. All right, next up, Module 2. Let's start thinking about your resources as your troops. Your time, your money, your focus, your friends, these are not just abstract ideas. They are the actual regiments you have under your command. And it's worth remembering what they say. Victory belongs to logistics, not just to dreams. Nothing gets done without supplies. Now, to manage these troops, we've got two more frameworks. You've probably heard of the 80-20 principle. It's all about finding the vital few that make the biggest impact. For example, maybe 20% of your customers bring in 80% of your revenue. Those are your elite forces. They need your best support. Then there's something called agency math. This is just a fancy way of turning your potential into a real plan. So instead of saying, I'll work out more, you say, I have 3 hours available each week, which means I can do 12 sessions a month. See, you're turning abstract resources into a measurable plan of attack. For your next drill, I want you to take stock of your resources, your time, skills, money, and pinpoint your vital 20%. Okay, with the fundamentals of ground and forces covered, basic training is officially complete. Now we're moving on to the advanced maneuvers, learning to see and act with total clarity even when the situation is completely chaotic and uncertain. Module 3 is about mapping what you can't see at first glance. You see, the battlefield is never just random chaos. There are always underlying patterns, repeating behaviors, and systems at play. Your job is to spot these repeating shapes in the fog, kind of like how a chess grandmaster recognizes a familiar opening and already knows the next dozen likely moves. To spot these patterns, you need holistic vision. This just means seeing the whole forest, not just one or two trees. For example, instead of just seeing a single customer complaint, you start looking for a pattern across your entire delivery system. You'll also need probabilistic thinking, training yourself to think in odds, not certainties. A good strategist never says this will happen. No, they say there's a 70% chance this will happen. And here's my backup plan just in case. So your assignment here is to look for these hidden connections in one of your own projects. And that leads us to our final training module, Fog of War Drills. This tackles the biggest fear every decision maker has. What if I don't have enough information? Well, here's the critical lesson. You never have perfect information. The goal isn't to get rid of uncertainty, it's to act decisively within it. Because in strategy, freezing up, well, that's how you lose. Two frameworks are absolutely crucial here. We already touched on probabilistic thinking, updating your beliefs as new info comes in. But the real game changer is inversion. Instead of asking, how can I succeed, you flip it and ask, what could possibly cause this to fail? By starting with failure and working backward, you can spot all sorts of hidden risks and get ready for them. It's an incredible stress test for any plan. Your challenge now? Take a current goal and apply inversion. List all the ways it could go wrong, and I promise you'll build a much stronger strategy.
Okay, now for the final synthesis. This is the moment this whole bootcamp has been building towards. It's time to combine everything you've learned into one single, powerful tool, your very own battle map.
So, your battle map isn't just a document, it's a dynamic way of thinking that pulls together everything we've covered. First, you map the terrain. Then you count your troops. After that, you spot the patterns. And finally, you navigate the fog. See how it all flows together? It's how all 4 modules become one unified strategic view.
And this quote just nails the ultimate goal, doesn't it? The demand is crystal clear. No more fragments, no more isolated little pieces of info. The objective is to see the entire field, the whole brotherhood of forces, all in one single coherent picture. That is battle map vision. By successfully forging that map, you've done it. You complete the bootcamp. You graduate. And with graduation comes a new skill and, a new identity. In this training system, mastering these 4 core modules, that's your final exam. Once you've really internalized each one of them, you've met the requirements for graduation. You've earned your stripes as a strategist. So what's your reward? First, you unlock a new skill, battle map vision. This is the very practical ability to look at any situation, a business, a project, a negotiation, and boil it down to its essential map game components. And with that skill comes a new title, the Surveyor. And look, this isn't just a cool name, it's an identity. It means you're someone who sees the ground, who can assess the forces, and who can chart a path forward with real, profound clarity. So here's a quick look back at the entire campaign. Week 1 was all about mastering your terrain. Week 2, counting your resources. Week 3 was recognizing patterns. And Week 4 was learning to navigate the fog of war. And all of that led to Weeks 5 and 6, where you put it all together into your battle map. But graduation isn't the end. Not at all. It's the beginning. Now it's time to take your new way of seeing things out of the classroom and into the real world. Your first mission is waiting. Remember this, you've graduated, Surveyor. Your training here is complete. But the real campaign, applying the strategic vision to your own life, is just getting started. So, I'll leave you with a call to action, a question. With this new strategic eye, with this ability to see the world as a map of forces and terrain, what is the first battlefield you will map? Is it your career, a personal project, a difficult relationship? The choice is yours.